Okay, here we've got Australian dollar against US dollar. Now you can look at this on the 15-minute time frame, or you can look at it on the hourly time frame. Let's look at it on the hourly time frame. So if I just stretch this across. So what we've got here is an A, B, C, D. The C point has not violated the 90% mark, so this is valid. So let's quickly look at how much we need to trade and where we need to trade, and then we'll discuss this trade in more detail. So the high here is 0.8711. The B point here is 0.8665. The C point here is 0.8704. And so the distance between A and B, which is 0.8711 to 0.8665, is 46 pips. And so point D is 46 pips lower than 0.8704. So point D is 0.8658. So around about this price here, 0.8658. So we are quite close to that. Now this pivot low is too close to the entry price. Then we've got this pivot low here. And then we've got this pivot low here. So this pivot low seems to be the best pivot low to put your stop below. So our stop will go around about, let's say here, at 0.8640. So let's see how many currency units we need to buy here. So let's say a $50,000 account, 2% risk per trade, Australian dollar against US dollar. Entry price is 2 pips above market price because we're going long, so we need to add 2 pips, so 0.8660. And our stop price is 1 pip below market price because we're going to be selling there, 0.8639. Click calculate and we get 476,190 currency units. So let's just make that 476,000. So we come to our broker screen. Australian dollar against US dollar is here. Right click on it, create entry order. We want to buy 476,000 at 0.8660 and tick the stop, and we want to be putting our stop at 0.8639. Click OK. Right, so we can't do 476. So what we'll do is we'll just round this up to 480,000. And we just click OK. And there it is. We're just waiting for 0.8660. And our stop is at 0.8639 if we get triggered into the trade. And currently we are at 6.9 here, so 9 pips away. So let's see what happens. Let's see if we get triggered here. We are on the hourly time frame. And so as you can see, we can do these trades on any time frame. And again, we can look at the exact same pattern, the exact same ABCD pattern here on the 15-minute, A, B, C, D. So it doesn't really matter which one you look at. Obviously on the 15-minute, it seems to span a lot more. What we'll do is we'll look at the hourly time frame. And there's our ABCD there, A, B, C, D. So let's wait to see if we get triggered into this trade. So the market did come down through our entry price, and then it went back up, and now it's hovering around this area here. So our order did go through at 0.8660, and our stop is at 0.8639. Right, okay, so what we've got here, if I just crunch up the chart a bit. As you can see, we've got a nice uptrend. We've got all the MAs going in the right direction. So we want to be going long, and that's what we're doing. Now the trade itself is an ABCD downwards, so A to B, B to C, and C to D. And we've gone long, which is agreeing with the uptrend. And so this makes it a strategy 2 trade. We've gone long at this line, we've got our stop here, and so our break-even point is going to be at the 1-to-1 risk reward. So the distance between our stop and our entry is 0.8640 to 0.8658, so that's 18 pips. So 18 pips in profit would take us up to 0.8676. And as you can see, we are already above that. We reached our break-even price here. And so at that point, we move our stop to break even. Sometimes you're going to walk away from the screen and the price, your break-even price might be hit just like it has been here, and it's going higher. It doesn't matter, as long as once it's done there or wherever it's hovering, as long as it reached there at some point in time, you have to move your stop to break even. So we left click on stop and we change it to our entry price, which is 0.8660. And we click OK. So now our stop is at 0.8660 and our entry was at 0.8660. So if price comes back down now, so if price reverses and comes back down to this point here, we are going to exit the market at this price. And that was also our entry price, so we would break even. So there will be no loss. So we're in a risk-free trade here, and these are the scenarios that we like the most, because we're going to go for either profit or we don't lose anything. So it's a win-win situation, because the point of this is that we don't want to lose any money. So we're either going to come out at a profit or we're going to come out at break even. So either way, we don't lose any money. So what we're going to do now is we're going to wait for pivot lows to form, and we will move our stop higher and higher, lock in more profit as each pivot low forms. So I'm going to just pause the video and let's see how this trade unfolds. So we're on the third bar from the entry bar here, and we've still got rising prices here. We haven't formed any pivot low yet, so we're just waiting for the pivot low to form so we can move our stop higher. And because this is the hourly time frame, we're going to have to wait each hour for the next bar to form for us to see whether a pivot low is going to form or not. So I'm going to pause the video now and we'll wait for another hour or so to see what the market is going to do. Okay, so what we've got here is price hovering around the same place. We still haven't got a pivot low yet, but we'll just wait as each bar forms to see if a pivot low is going to form, and that's when we'll lock in more profit by moving our stop higher. So I'm just going to pause the video now and just restart in an hour or so, and we'll see where the market's gone. Okay, well, still no pivot low formed yet. And so we're just waiting for a pivot low to form. And obviously we can't tell if a low is a pivot low until we get a higher low on the left and a higher low on the right. A pivot low really consists of 3 bars, itself and the bar to the right and the bar to the left. And right now we haven't got any sign of any sort of pivot low forming. But that's okay, we're just going to wait, keep our stop at the same place, and until a pivot low doesn't form, we're not going to move our stop higher. So I'll just pause the video and let's just wait for the next hour or so to see where Australian dollar moves to. So we may now have a low pivot here. As you can see, this is a low here, and on the left we have a higher low. And now, as long as this low is not broken in this bar here, the most current bar, then we will have a low pivot here, and we can move our stop, which is currently at the entry price, up to below this low pivot. So let's see what happens with this bar. I'm going to pause the video now and, well, wait for the next hour and see whether this low here is a low pivot. And we'll know that when this bar completes, and only if this low has not been penetrated in the current bar, meaning that on the right we also have a higher low. So I'll just pause the video now and I'll resume in an hour or so. Okay, so we see that that is actually a pivot low, because on the right we've got a higher pivot and on the left we've got a higher pivot. So this low here has a higher low to the right and a higher low to the left. Therefore, this is a pivot low, and that is where we're going to move our stop to. So we're going to move our stop from our entry point, because it's currently at the break-even price, which is our entry point, up to this pivot low. So we're going to lock in that profit. So this low here is at 0.8687. And so we want to put our stop, let's say at 0.86, let's say 85, 2 pips away. So if we're going to put our stop at 0.8685 market-wise, we need to left click on the stop of our current position and change it to 0.86. Well, we said 85 market-wise, so 1 pip below that is 84. So 0.8684 is where we want to put our stop. And so as you can see, our stop has moved to 0.8684. And so our stop is now in this area here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to just wait for another pivot low, a higher pivot low to form, so we can lock in more profit. But right now our stop is here and we're just waiting for another pivot low. So I'll pause the video now and I'll restart the video in an hour or so to see where the market has gone.